In this video, we will learn how to add an SSH key to GitHub using Git, and also in general and easy terms, what is SSH, what is the SSH key, right? And different encryption techniques that is used by SSH. So welcome geeks, I'm JoanMedia, and please subscribe if you want to keep learning about technology. Thank you very much for watching this video, and let's go ahead to the content of this video. I wanted to call this presentation SSH in simple terms. I'm not want to explain you in focus on technical terms, what is it and how it works. I just want to let you know what is that's in basic terms. All right, so let's start talking about SSH. What is it? All right, SSH is also known as secure shell or secure socket shell. It's a network protocol that gives users, particularly system administrators or any other user, to be honest, a secure way to access a computer. All right. SSH was created as a replacement for the service telnet, and it uses cryptographic techniques to secure that communication between the SSH server and the SSH client is secure. All right, it provides a mechanism for authenticating a remote user, transferring the data from the client to the host, and relying on the outback back to the client. All right, so if we talk about the encryption techniques that offered by SSH, actually we have three of them. The first one is I'm not sure what this is in Spanish, but it is symmetrical encryption. All right, the next one is well, the same stuff but asymmetric. Let me just change that very quick. Asymmetrical encryption. And the third one is hashing. All right, so let's talk brief about this. What is symmetrical encryption? Basically, symmetrical encryption is when a secret key is used for both the client and the host. All right, let me just change this view to presentation mode. I'm just talking a lot and I didn't activate this mode. Well, for as I'm telling you, well, it uses a secret key, all right, for both client and the host. As you can imagine, anyone who possesses the key can decrypt the message being transferred. All right, so symmetric encryption is also called shared key or shared secret encryption. There is usually one key that is used. However, there are situations where there are two of them, but as you could think or imagine, one key can be easily calculated using the other key. Symmetric keys are actually used to fully encrypt the communication during a SSH session, right? SSH, I'm sorry. The client and the server derive the secret key using an agreed method, and the resultant key is never disclosed to a third party. A key exchange algorithm is the process in charge of creating the symmetric key. And this algorithm is particularly secure because the key is never transmitted between the client and the host. All right. Instead, the two computers share public pieces of data and then manipulate it to independently calculate the secret key. Even if another machine captures the publicly shared data, it won't be able to calculate the key because the key exchange algorithm is not known. All right, so let's talk a little bit about asymmetric encryption. And it is a kind of encryption which uses two separated keys for encryption and decryption. They are commonly known as the public and the private key. Together form a public private key part. All right. The public key is the one that is distributed, right, to everyone and shared with all the parties. In contrast with the symmetric encryption, the private key cannot be mathematically computed from the public key. It is more secure in this aspect, right? The private key must remain private for the connection to be secured. No third party must ever know it. All right. Asymmetrical encryption is not used to encrypt the entire SSH session. Instead, it is only used during the key exchange algorithm of the symmetric encryption. Before initiating a secure connection, both parties generate temporary public-private keys pairs and share the respective private keys to produce the shared secret key. Once a secure symmetric communication has been established, the server uses the client's public key to generate and challenge and transmit it to the client for authentication. If the client can successfully decrypt the message, it means that it holds the private key required for the connection. The SSH session then begins, alright? And the third encryption method that we have here is hashing. In general terms, it is different than the other two forms of encryptions, since one hash functions are never meant to be decrypted. Basically, it generates a unique value of fixed length for each input, and it doesn't present any kind of trend that can be easily followed, and therefore it is practically impossible to be reversed. Those are the basic concepts to have a simple idea of the types of encryption we have using SSH, alright? So, if we think and actually talk a bit about the SSH or secure shell capabilities, well, functions that SSH enables, including are the next ones. All right. For example, we can have secure remote access to SSH enabled network systems or devices for users, as well as automated processes. We also have a secure and interactive file transfer sessions. We have this possibility, and also we can automate it and secure file transfers. All right. Just to finish, we can secure issuance of commands on remote devices or systems, and the secure management of network infrastructure components. So once we have done and finished this, let's go ahead and work with generating the SSH public and private key. All right, and let's go. Alright, for this video we're gonna need Git installed in our computer. Alright, if you wanna learn how to use Git, how to install it in your computer, I have a very interesting video about Git for beginners. Alright, if you wanna go ahead and watch that video, I'm gonna try to let you a card here if you wanna click and go ahead and watch it. So let's continue. The first thing that we have to see is where the SSH keys are stored. All right, so let's take a look at that. For example, if we go ahead and use this command ls-a, and we're gonna see different folders that we have in this location, in the home directory. All right. So as you can see, I have a folder with a dot at the beginning. It means that it is a hidden folder. All right. Inside of this hidden folder, we can have different SSH keys. All right. So in case this folder doesn't exist, you can create it, and we can go ahead and do that just to have a clear understanding of what is happening from this point. All right, I'm gonna remove that folder with this command rm-rf.ssh, and as you can see, if I look for the folder again, it is not at all in my computer anymore. So what I have to do is create it. I'm gonna use the command mkdir, all right, and I'm gonna create the folder .ssh. Once this is done, if I look again, the folder is created once again. I'm gonna just zoom out, or actually zoom in this content to show you how this folder is created now. All right, if I take a look inside of this folder, which is .ssh, you can see that it is empty right now. So the first thing that you have to do is actually look at it to see if there is other public or private key in use. If there is one, there is no problem. We can generate a new one without any kind of issue. So the next thing that I want to show you is basically how to generate the first key, the first public and private key pair, right? So we're gonna go ahead and start with this command, SSH key again. We're gonna enter the command T. We're gonna specify where it is gonna be stored, how it is gonna be named. Actually, I'm gonna name that as ed and this number over here, right? So the next thing that I want to do is also specify the email that I have configured in my GitHub account. In my particular case, this is the one that I want. However, if you have another one, of course you will have another one, please specify your email address in this field. All right, that's good. And once this is done, you will see that it is telling me generating public private this name key pair. All right, and it is actually asking me for the file in which to save the key. In my particular case, I want this default that I have here, which is id underscore ed 25519, and I'm gonna press enter because that's the one that I want. And it is also asking me for a passphrase. All right, in this particular case, I want to specify a dummy passphrase. All right, in my particular case, it's gonna be test. I have just typed that, and I'm gonna type again test. And as you can see, my private and public key is already created. How we can actually take a look of that, if you go to the SSH folder again, you will see that this we have created two different files right now. Once which actually has a .pub at the end of the file, which is the extension, right? And there is another one which doesn't have any other extension. In this particular case, the next step that I want to do is actually add this private key to the SSH agent. All right, this is gonna help us to have better connection with GitHub. It is not gonna or actually we're gonna avoid to have to enter the passphrase constantly. This agent is going to help us to manage that communication in a better way. So how we can do that? The first thing that we have to do is actually turn on the service of the SSH agent. And how we can do that? Basically using this command eval. All right, and then we're gonna use the next thing that I don't remember. Let me take a look. We're gonna use a backtick to enter, or actually two backticks to enter the following command, which is SSH. Let me take a look because I don't remember that in particular. It is SSH agent and then a command S, right over there. Once this is done, it is going to return you a different agent PID. In this particular case is 1772, but it is going to depend on your computer. Then the thing that I have to do is actually add the private key to this particular agent. All right, so the thing that we have to do is use this command SSH at, all right, and then we're gonna specify where the private key is located. In my particular case is inside of the home, then SSH folder, which is hidden, and then inside of it we have the private key, right, which is id underscore ed 25519. Once this is done, you will see that it is gonna actually ask you for the passphrase, so I'm gonna just enter test, and once that is done, you will see that this is a message here saying identity added. So that's it. I guess that right now we have our private key ready to be used for the connection with GitHub. All right, with GitHub. Sorry. So let's go ahead and take a look how you can copy the public key, because that's the next step. We have to copy the public key to go ahead to GitHub and add that particular public key. There are two options. All right. We have the first one, which is go inside of the C drive, your local disk, and go inside of users. Go ahead and look for your username, all right, and look for the hidden folder .ssh, and inside of it you will see, and inside of it you will see that we have a pub file over here. And if you go ahead and take a look with the notepad, for example, you will see a public key here, and that's the public key that we have to use to connect our computer with GitHub. There is another option if you wanna keep working with the command line, and is using this particular command, clip. All right, and using this clip, we just have to specify where my public file is located. In this particular case, it is inside of SSH, and we have to specify the file name. In this particular case is id the number dot poop. All right, once this is done, you will see that this is gonna be captured in my memory. And the next step that we have to go ahead and do is go to GitHub inside of your profile, and if you click in this particular space where your profile photo is located, you have to go to settings, right? And inside of settings, you have to go to SSH and GPG keys. All right, inside of this menu, after you click on it, actually, we have to click on new SSH key, and inside of this form, you just have to enter the title, which is gonna be well, a generic name that reminds you where, or actually where it is, or I don't know, specify where where you're trying to make a connection, right? Where is or the computer that you're trying to connect with SSH and GitHub, right? So in this particular case is PC personal, for example, just to have a kind of example. And if I paste here, you will see that after using clip, I have the public key ready to be copied in, or actually pasted in the key form. Once this is done, I just have to click on add SSH key, and you will see that the key is already created and ready to be used. So that's it, guys. Basically, that's how you create the SSH private and public keys. And once, if I want to go and for example, clone a repository, for example this one, I just have to come here to code, and instead of using HTTPS, I have to use SSH. All right, and just click on copy here, and then go to the folder that you want to clone your repository. In my case, documents, for example. Open a git bash here, and use the command git clone, for example. And inside of git clone, you have to specify, sorry, I don't know what happened. Let me just copy this again, and let's try to reproduce the steps again. Git clone and paste. There it is. We have the SSH path that we have to use. And then if I click on this, you will see that it is going to ask me if I want to continue connecting, if it is secure and you want to do that. In this case, I do. So I type yes, and you will see that it is also asking me for the passphrase. All right, and then you obviously have to type down the passphrase that you have created. In my particular case was test, right? And as you can see, it is gonna clone and download all the folders that we have, and now I have my connection done. And as you can see, my repository was created successfully. So that's it, guys. I guess that I hope that this video finds you well, that helps you to understand how this works. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching the video, guys. If you have any doubt about this, please go ahead and let me know, and I'll be more than glad to try to help you out with any question if it is in my hands. Thank you very much for watching this. Please subscribe and let a like in the comment section below. Let me know in the comment section if you have any feedback, any other thought. If you want to go ahead and display something else, please do it. I'll be more than glad to have this kind of feedback and community interactions. Thank you very much for this, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.